Welcome to the Growing Athletes Podcast. I'm your host, Amy Suter. Join me on a journey to unlock potential, chase dreams, and lead authentically fulfilled lives. Together, we'll explore the powerful crossroads of sports, mindset, and personal growth. Prepare to become the next best version of you. I'm Amy Suter, and this is the Growing Athletes Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Growing Athletes Podcast. Today's episode is a little different and honestly one of the most personal I've recorded. It's Veterans Day, and this one's for my dad. He passed away earlier this year, and while there's been a lot of sadness, there's also been this overwhelming sense of gratitude because the man he was continues to shape who I am, who my kids are, and even the athletes I get to coach. My dad was an Army Ranger who served in Vietnam, and as I've reflected on his life, I keep coming back to this truth. The values that made him who he was are the same ones that build strong athletes, great teams, and most importantly, good humans. So today's episode isn't about loss, it's about legacy. It's about the kind of strength that outlives the person who modeled it. My dad lived a servant's life, everything he did, from his years as an Army Ranger to his time as a fire chief, coach, husband, father, and his favorite role, Pops, was rooted in service. He didn't live to be noticed. He lived to make a difference. He believed you're only as good as your word. The amount of times that I heard that growing up. He believed in doing the right thing, even when no one was watching, even when it wasn't easy or convenient. And he loved people without expecting anything in return. He had that quiet confidence that made people feel safe, the kind of strength that didn't need to prove itself. He didn't need to raise his voice to be heard. People listened because his consistency spoke louder than his words ever could. He didn't talk much about what he did, he just did it. And when he spoke, it was steady and full of wisdom because it came from his experiences and not his ego. Those same traits, integrity, discipline, humility, and heart, are the foundation of every great athlete, coach, and leader. And I didn't realize until years later that the same lessons he lived are the ones I now teach. That real strength is steady, not loud. That confidence is built on consistency. And that character always wins in the long run. My dad volunteered to join the Army as a senior in high school. At a time when others were being drafted, he stepped forward by choice. That decision alone says everything about who he was. He didn't do it for recognition or out of obligation. He did it because he believed in service and purpose and in doing his part. He didn't talk much about his time in Vietnam like a lot of soldiers from that era. He carried those stories quietly, but you could see what the experience gave him. He came home with a deep understanding of discipline, loyalty, courage, and leadership. Not the kind that people talk about, but the kind they live. He learned that discipline isn't about control, it's about trust. It's the small, steady promise you make to yourself and keep every day. He knew that when you do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it, you're not just building habits, you're building self-respect. He learned that loyalty isn't situational. You show up for your people, not because they've earned it, but because it's who you are. It's your standard. That loyalty became his compass. Whether it was a teammate, a friend, or a stranger in need, he didn't waver. He learned that courage came in many forms. Sometimes it's running towards danger when everyone else is running away, and sometimes it's the quiet kind, showing up when you're tired, forgiving when it's hard, or standing firm when you're misunderstood. That was my dad's kind of courage, both brave and humble, bold and steady. And he learned that leadership has nothing to do with titles or recognition. Even though he earned many, that was never what it was about. For him, leadership meant service, taking responsibility for the people around you, lifting others up, and doing what's right even when no one else sees it. Those lessons become who he was. And when he came home, he didn't just leave the Army behind. He brought the best of it with him. Those values became the foundation of our family and the standard for how we work, how we love, and how we show up for the people in our lives. And I think that's what makes true leadership so powerful. When the values you live by quietly teach everyone around you how to live too. My dad was a protector in every sense of the word. He didn't have to say it, you just knew. He carried a calmness about him, a steadiness that made people feel safe simply because he was there. If something went wrong, you wanted him nearby. He had this way of grounding a moment without needing to take it over. He didn't fix everything for you, but he gave you the confidence to handle it because you knew he was in your corner. That's what real protection looks like. It's not control and it's not rescuing, it's presence. It's showing up so consistently that people around you feel stronger just because you're beside them. That's the kind of leadership that builds trust on a team, in a family, or in a community. It's what great coaches do when their athletes are struggling. It's what great teammates do when someone makes a mistake. It's what great parents do when their kids are learning who they are. That was my dad. Steady, loyal, dependable, and deeply safe to be around. He had this unspoken strength that told everyone, I've got you. And honestly, I think that's one of the most powerful forms of leadership there is. My dad's influence didn't stop with me or our family. It reached everyone he met. He had this quiet way of passing on his values without ever needing to say a word. The people who worked with him, played for him, hunted with him, or just shared a conversation, they all walked away a little different. Because when someone lives with that kind of integrity, it rubs off on you. You start walking a little bit more honest, a little bit more loyal, a little bit more steady in the storms. That's what legacy really is. It's not the big speeches or the trophies. It's the way your actions inspire others to raise their standard too. I think about that a lot as a coach and a parent. Because what my dad modeled, his consistency, his loyalty, his quiet strength, those are the same values that build great athletes, great teammates, and most importantly, great humans. They're the foundation of every strong team and every strong family. So if you're listening today, whether you're an athlete, a coach, or a parent, I hope you carry a little piece of that forward. Maybe it's being the calm in a chaotic game. Maybe it's choosing integrity when no one's watching. Maybe it's showing up for your people, not because it's convenient, but because it's who you are. That's how we keep the best of the people we love alive, by living out what they stood for. And for me, that's how I'll always honor my dad, by showing up the way he did, with loyalty, love, honesty, courage, and quiet strength. And as we honor Veterans Day today, it feels right to also honor the values he and so many others lived by. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you to all those who have served and to the families who have carried that service right alongside them. The lessons our veterans live by, discipline, loyalty, courage, and selflessness, have a way of leaving a mark on everyone around them. They teach us what it means to stand firm in our values, to lead with love, and put others before ourselves. My dad was one of those people. He lived those values every single day, not for recognition, but because it was simply who he was. And I think that's what true strength looks like. Not the loud kind that demands attention, but the quiet kind that builds trust, holds steady, and makes people feel safe just by being there. So as we honor our veterans today, I hope we also honor the example they set by how we show up, how we serve, and how we love our people. That's what I'm carrying forward from my dad. His loyalty, his integrity, his faith, his quiet strength. And I hope in your own way you carry forward a piece of that light too. Thank you for spending the time with me today on the Growing Athletes podcast. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who could use a reminder of what real leadership and courage look like. And to my dad, thank you for always showing us how to live with honor and for proving that the greatest legacy is the love you leave behind.
I am so grateful you chose to spend your time here with me today. Thank you. To learn more about Growing Athletes and to get access to today's show notes, visit me at amysuter.com. Always remember, both you and your athletes have everything you need inside of you to achieve anything you set your minds to. So go out there and pursue those dreams relentlessly. And keep in perspective, it's who you become on this journey that really matters, as our dreams will always expand at the exact same rate as our personal growth. I love you all, and I will talk to you next week.